Magandang hapon mga katribu. Welcome sa Usapang OFW. Ako si Raffy Ayeng.
Ako naman po si John Dodson.
Maka tayong kagalang-galang
Oo
today.
nga, sa ibang
At
ibang setup natin ngayon.
Yes, hindi tayo mga manananggal ngayon. Kita ang ating mga tuhod.
Ano kaya ang reason kung
Yes.
bakit we have this kind of setup, Raffy?
Malalaman natin yan mamaya and let's pause for a break.
Okay.
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into pressing issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
And we're back. Sir John.
Okay. The reason why ganito setup natin is because we have two special guests,
Yes.
no? One being no other than the ambassador of Israel to the Philippines, His Excellency. Ilan Plus, no? And he would be joining us here in our studio. So we are delighted to be having the ambassador as our guest. And also, Rapi, we have another guest via Zoom, and this would be
Si General Manager ng Manila International Airport Authority, Sir Eric Ines.
yes. So nasa balita ang MIAA recently, because of these incidents na Iatri kung saan isang matandang pasahero ang nawalan ng pulso, nawalan ng malay, and at ang magandang
Bakit
ending,
kaya?
yes, ang magandang ending ay na-revive ang pasahero.
Kala ko yung daga, tsaka yung surot. Kala ko yun ang tatanungin natin.
Tapos na yun. And so mamaya we'll be joined by General Manager Eric Ines ng MIAA. Now, siguro nagtataka kayo bakit guest natin si Ambassador Ilan Plus, no? For today. Of course, he would want to talk about the contributions of OFWs in normalizing the situation in Israel. Na?
Tsaka recently, sinelebrate ng Israel ang Israel Memorial Day na ginawa sa Manila. Bali, ito yung 76, kasabay rin ito ng 76th Independence Day ng Israel noong May 14. So, di ba, hindi naman lingid sa ating kaalaman na ang ating mga kababayan na mga nagbuwis ng buhay noong panahon, nung kasagsagan ng, or hanggang ngayon naman ano pa rin, hindi pa rin naman natatapos ang war between Hamas and Israel. Noong kasagsagan nga may nagbuwis ng buhay na mga kababayan nating mga OFW. Sila yung mga natin, kumbaga tinuturing nating mga bayani kasi talagang nadamay sila doon and at the same time nagbuwis sila ng buhay for that.
Yes, Rapi, nung May 13 ay ginunita ng embassy ng Israel dito sa Manila ang Memorial Day,
Yes.
kung saan ay kinilala nila yung mga natural, yung sundalo nila na nagbuwis ng buhay in reaction to the October 7 terrorist attack ng Hamas, no? And of course, along with these soldiers ay ang 4 na Pilipino na kasamang palad ay napatay ng Hamas during the attack itself, no? At may isa pa.
Yes.
Isang Filipino national, ang ethnicity niya ay Pilipino, na member ng Israeli Defense Force na namatay din. Kaya mamaya ay actually nandyan na si Ambassador Ilan Plus at i-QQin natin siya because we want to get it straight from him as to the current situation in Israel right now. And Raffy, ready na yata si Ambassador, so we
Yes.
will take a short break.
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, Hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, Hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, Hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. And this break?
All right, and we are back. And
Parang kaming trumpo dito, paikot-ikot. Well, anyways, yun nga, ang guest nga natin si Ambassador Ilan Flus at kilala naman natin si Ambassador Ilan Flus na yung mga previous interview natin sa kanya na talagang malaki ang pasalamat niya sa ating mga kababayang nagbuwis ng buhay. And then sa buong population ng mga Filipino na nagsisilbi sa Israel dahil ika nga niya very dependable, masiyahin, and then mga talagang handang tumulong sa mga Israeli kapag sa panahon ng pangangailangan.
that's why, Raffy, nakakalungkot because no amount of money can bring back loved ones na
Yes.
namatay. Pero if it's any consolation, yung mga Pilipino na naapektuhan ng terrorist attack ng Hamas, talagang they got the same benefits as those Israelis who were unfortunate enough to be victimized by this October 7 terror attack. So talagang pinaramdam ng Israel that, merong unity. Hindi kinilala kung whether you're Israeli or Pilipino ka. Basta biktima ka nung October 7 terror attack, you were given all of the benefits.
Yes.
Kaya
Yun nga,
talagang
they have applied their special special law for that
saka
in times of war.
Oo, yung mga Pilipino na umuwi because of the yung giyera, sabihin na natin giyera. Abay, marami doon nakabalik na uli sa Israel.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have now the Ambassador of Israel.
Okay, we will be introducing Ambassador
Are we
Ilan
go-
Plus.
Yes.
Alright.
Okay.
So, all right.
In any second.
Any second now. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency.
Yes.
Have a seat, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mga katribu, His Excellency, Ambassador of Israel, Ambassador Ilan Flus.
In flesh and blood, our good ambassador. Excellency, first of all, we want to congratulate you on the 76th founding of Israel as a state. May 14.
Yes.
Yes, that was 1948.
48.
Yeah. And a while back, we were talking about the May 13 Memorial Day that you commemorated in Manila.
Yes.
Can you tell us something about this event that you
Yes.
presided over with?
Yes, we had an event in well, here in Manila, but of course also in Israel. We have always, before Independence Day, we have our Memorial Day. So, and for Memorial Day, we move to Independence Day. And Memorial Day, also in Israel, is a very solemn, very, in a way, sad day, because we commemorate the more than 24,000 Israeli soldiers that died in action during the years since 1948 until today, and more than 5,000 civilians who were killed during terror attacks since the beginning of the century, actually. So we have so many. So it's a time for the families, and it is a time for the people to reflect, to remember a lot of people that also have been injured, and to remind us, and especially this year, which is the first time that we actually celebrated these 2 days in the midst of a war. So there was a lot of recognition to different heroes of the war. In Israel, people who volunteered, people who are doing a lot of work in the media, people who came to help on the October 7 attack, who rescued, who basically exposed themselves to danger and came to rescue people from October 7, from the Nova Festival and others. So a lot of different recognitions to, I would say, simple heroes of our citizens. And here in Manila, we had also an event in the Philippines, in Manila, with the Israeli community in the Philippines, with the Jewish community in the Philippines, and also some Filipino friends. We didn't have a big event. And we did also give special recognition to the Filipinos that were victims of the 7th of October 2023 terror attack of Hamas.
So are the families of the Filipinos who perished in the war were invited during that?
They were invited, they couldn't come. We had the memorial service for them also last year, only for the Filipinos. Now it was part of our, a national day. They didn't come, but the father of the Sergei Garin, the Filipino-Israeli soldier who died in action. The father actually sent us a recorded video from Israel, from the cemetery, from the graveyard of Cedric, and he shared with us his conversations with his son and how he feels about his son dying for Israel, in fighting for the Israeli freedom. He was very proud of his son, and he said his son felt very loyal and very connected to the Israeli people. And he said his son did it in his full heart. He was really behind Israel. So we talked about the son, of course, Cedric Garin. We talked about the 4 Filipino OFWs who died, who were murdered by Hamas. And we also talked about, and that's something very unique, we talked about 2 more, I would say, phenomena. One is the Filipino OFWs, who are still in Israel now, and most of them have remained in Israel. They didn't leave Israel, even now. And a lot of them, in the weekend, in the day off, they go to volunteer working with Israeli farmers, because we still have a shortage of workers in Israel. There used to be a lot of Thai workers and other workers, and a lot of Palestinian workers. So there is a shortage. So Israelis are volunteering, and the Filipino OFWs are volunteering to do some farm work on the day off, which is fantastic. And the second thing I gave really special tribute was we have now a group of Filipino volunteers who traveled specially from the Philippines to Israel. They did some touring, like the
All right.
first 10 days, you know, pilgrimage, pilgrimage plus, sort of also going to see the sites where in the kibbutzim in the south where the terror attack took place, and to talk to some of the survivors. They did different interactions also with some Israeli politicians in the areas of conflict and the IDF. And then after these 10 days,
Yes.
they remained in Israel to volunteer in a rehabilitation hospital, the biggest rehabilitation hospital in Israel, in Tel Aviv. And they stayed there to volunteer, to work with Israeli patients who are hospitalized there, with the medical teams and other all the teams there. And I met them.
Yes, sir.
I went to visit the hospital when I was in Israel a few weeks ago.
Yes. Okay.
It is
Heartwarming.
Heartwarming.
heartwarming. I
Yes.
mean, I have tears when I think about it. It's
We
so...
would understand, Mr. Ambassador, your
but-
feeling.
and you see the bond. You see that the Filipinos, and this is special thing of the Filipinos, you see the special bond between the Filipinos and the Israelis. Patients, doctors, staff there, they integrated in such a smooth way, and they get along so well there. It's just so fantastic to see.
You know, Mr. Ambassador, maybe it helped that there was an immersion period of 10 days whereby the Filipinos were able to see for themselves the horrors, the place where the attacks happened. Just like, you know, during the Holocaust after the war, the, you know, the gas chambers really brought people to terms with the mass killing that happened during World War II, victimizing your people. So I would perfectly understand if Filipinos would have an affinity with
Yes.
Israel.
And I think it also comes from the Christian values
Yeah.
Yes.
of special connection to Israel and to the people and to the Holy Land, of course. And a lot of them are being, I think, supporters for quite some time. But the nice thing is that they decided to do something,
Yes.
Yes.
and they
They
went there.
acted.
On their day off. So they are working in the hospitals, in the factories, and on their day off, they went to the
Farms.
kibbutz,
So
to
exactly.
the farms to
Yes.
help, you know.
Yes. And they send me photos of, you know, picking the cucumbers, and then what the other day they're
Yes,
picking
that-
lemons.
those photos.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. Exactly. And you know,
Are those lemons?
These are lemons.
Lemons
So
are
nice
big.
Oh,
In
big.
Israel.
Those are lemons.
Yeah. And then also the cucumbers, they couldn't understand. They look so good, and the taste, they're so
Yeah.
sweet. Sort of these are of course, the cherry tomatoes, which were actually developed in Israel. You know, Israel invented
Really?
the cherry tomatoes, the small tomatoes.
The one you
It's a-
put in a salad.
in salads. This is an Israeli innovation.
Alright.
Of course, of course.
That's a trivia.
So originally it came from Israel.
No, this
The-
lemon is no
No,
lemon.
the cherry
This is
tomatoes.
this is no lemon because it's so big.
That's a regular lemon, but if you use better practices and good technologies, drip irrigation, fertigation, all the practices bring a very good product.
yes.
Yes.
I
So-
hope
And we're trying to, of course, introduce
this
this
technology
system.
to our
Yes,
farms.
yes,
Because you
yes,
know
yes,
that's
yes.
a very big problem here in the Philippines, food security.
Correct.
And it is one area where Israel can really help the Philippines. And so, I mean,
I
who
can tell
wouldn't
you-
be excited seeing this?
I visited the Tarlac State University, Tarlac Agricultural University, a few months ago. I went there for a festival of harvesting in a smart irrigation project, which we contributed, and they are using greenhouses, drip irrigation, all the systems, and we picked their cherry tomatoes, and it was so good.
Yeah, you just add
It's
some
all-
greens and balsamic vinegar, and yeah, you're good to go.
No, fresh
I'm
and
getting
sweet.
starving. Sir, for the record, how many Filipinos are already there volunteering? And are you is Israel ready to admit more Filipino volunteers?
There are now, well, this group is of 11 people. And we're now working on the next batches.
All right.
So meantime, it's small, but there's a whole communities here who is supporting this kind of initiative. So we hope to see this continue. There's scope for more people to volunteer, absolutely, and we can facilitate in getting them together into organizations that need volunteers.
How many days, sir, will be there? How many days will they be staying
So
there?
they'll be staying there all together in Israel for about 3 months.
All right.
All right.
It's still under like a tourist visa of 90 days, so they're staying for that time. They actually would like to extend if possible. We have to check it. It's because of the issues of visa, immigration, regulation, things like that. But on the ground, they are so happy, and the Israelis are very, very happy to have them
Yes.
there. If it will be continuous, and for me also, it doesn't have to be a big number.
Yeah.
And it's very, in a way, for me, it's also symbolic, because the Philippines, it's a far country, remote
Yes.
from Israel,
Yeah.
and it's expensive to travel there. But still, for me, it's a very strong message of solidarity and
Yeah.
of friendship.
The idea is that we are here, although we are just 11, the magnificent 11, we are here to help
Exactly.
and, to show that Filipinos are, commiserating with what happened,
Exactly.
Because nobody would want to be a victim of that kind of, that's inhuman attack, no?
Yeah.
And October 7 would always be your,
October 7 is a national trauma, I think.
yeah,
It brought people in the mindset. You mentioned before the Holocaust. It brought us back to the mindset of Holocaust, of reminding us that there are still people and entities in the world who want to wipe Israel off the map, who want to destroy the
Yeah.
state of Israel, eliminate the state of Israel, and murder the Jews. And that's so disturbing. And you see what's happening also globally with these demonstrations in the universities,
Yes.
in the campuses in the US, in
Yeah.
Europe, in Canada, in Australia, and
yes,
other places.
Ambassador, those rallies seem to be well funded, no? There seems to be a core group moving
Behind that.
to mobilize this. It could not be spontaneous, no? But going back to October 7, the mindset that you are surrounded by entities that do not wish you good, that is an understatement, actually.
Exactly.
And of course, we all know that the credo of Hamas is that they would build on the ruins of Israel.
Exactly.
They would build the Palestinian state of Palestine.
On the ruins of Israel, exactly.
I mean, there is no room for you there.
No, they say in the charter, in the Hamas charter, that Israel will exist until we take over and create an Islamic state. It's not a political entity that you can negotiate.
Yeah, there is no room for coexistence whatsoever.
From their point of view,
Yeah.
yes, because it's not a political entity. The Hamas is an Islamic, unfortunately, an Islamic jihadist organization, which will never come to terms. Unfortunately, it's so sad. It is so sad because it brings so much distraction and so much evilness. When, end of the day, we want to live peacefully there.
Yes.
And I guess there are also, and I'm sure there are also Palestinians who don't want it,
Yeah.
but they have to stand up and do something to change this reality, to stand up against the organization and say, we want to engage differently. And we can see some countries that have done it. Lately, the UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, and we hear statements from other countries that are interested, including Saudi Arabia. And you hear from Israeli Arabs, because in Israel, it's a democracy. We have Arabs who are Christians, we have Arabs who are Muslims, we have the Bedouins, we have the Druze, we have different ethnics and religions. And the moment the Israelis, they all vote for the Israeli parliament. And you see in the October 7 attack, there were Muslims who were murdered
Yeah.
by the Hamas. And you have
Exactly.
Muslim volunteers who were recognized in our ceremonies, who were recognized as heroes by our government for what they did for the victims, in the fighting, in the support, whatever they did. So we need to, we need to be strong against
Yeah.
these forces of evil. Unfortunately, Hamas is not alone. Hamas is on the southern part of Israel, controlling Gaza. You have Hamas operatives a little bit in other places. But we have, in the northern part of Israel, in Lebanon,
Lebanon.
we have the Hezbollah.
Hezbollah. Yeah.
And Hezbollah is, since October 7, slowly increasing their terror activities against Israel on a daily basis now.
On the
They are
northern
firing
border.
on the northern border,
Yeah.
it's the border between Israel and Lebanon. It's the northern part of Israel. Do you know that now, in the north of Israel, 5 kilometers from the border, communities had to be evacuated.
Yeah.
And yesterday they even fired a drone towards Tiberias, which is a city on the Sea of Galilee, which is tens of kilometers away from the border. But Hezbollah is increasing its attempts to terrorize Israel. And let's not forget
The Houthis.
the Houthis from Yemen, and was it 14th of April that Iran launched more than 300
Yeah.
drones, ballistic missiles, and cruise missiles
Yeah,
Yes.
because
against Israel. 99% of them were intercepted.
Yes.
Thank God for the technologies
Yes,
and the
well,
defense
of
systems.
course.
And I would like to ask her how the Israeli special forces handling those those what do you call them, terrorists, those
It's-
attacks.
So it's a very challenging situation. In proximity range, it's very difficult to intercept a mortar or an anti-tank missile. It's quick, short distance, very difficult to intercept, especially when it's targeting civilians and homes and not tanks. Of course, from Iran, we have different defense systems according to the height. And of course, the Israeli Air Force. There was also an international coalition involved, and 99% were intercepted from Iran. Hamas firing towards Israel, most of the rockets are intercepted by the Iron Dome. In the northern part of Israel with Hezbollah, more difficult because of all kinds of the reasons and what they're using. A little more difficult to intercept, and we have a lot of damage. Not only Israeli casualties, but a lot of damage there,
yeah.
a lot of damage. And what we're doing, of course, we're trying to identify before they launch an attack. And if not, we respond in a very harsh way in order to try to, give them a message that it's not advisable, but they are losing so much when they attack Israel. But they don't care.
Yeah, initially, Mr. Ambassador, it was a proxy war being waged by Iran with the Hezbollah,
Exactly.
Houthis, and of course
Hamas.
Hamas. And then
Exactly.
suddenly, out of the blue, for the first time, I think in your history, that you were attacked directly by Iran.
Yes.
So it's a no holds barred. This is no longer a proxy war.
It's
Because,
not,
no longer.
Iran basically in this act. I mean, it's Iran joined the war.
Yes.
We have to be careful not to create another
Yeah.
entire regional war. And we know that a lot of that there are also within the Arab countries. You have the Shia
Yeah.
axis, which is Iran. They have the Shia organizations in Iraq, in Syria, of course Lebanon, Hamas. Then you have the more moderate Sunni countries,
Yeah.
which includes Egypt, Jordan, Gulf countries. With them we have peaceful relations. Not all of them, but some of them we have diplomatic relations, and we know that they do not want to have such escalation. So it's a very complicated region, and Iran has been preparing for this for so many years in financing, in sending weapons, in spreading the ideology, in training, and Iran is promoting terrorism in the region.
Mr. Ambassador,
And,
it has always been that way in the Middle East. Since since you were created.
Yeah, unfortunately, since 1948,
And then you have
we
been
had so
fighting a
many
lot of wars,
wars.
Yom Kippur War, the
Yes,
Six-Day
Six-Day
War.
War,
I
exactly.
mean, there's too many to
Exactly.
mention.
Exactly. And you know what we want? We talked before about the cherry tomatoes
Yes.
and we have so many innovations that are coming out of Israel to help the world. And Israel is a democratic, liberal country with such high level of research and development, innovations in so many areas. Israel is contributing to the world, to better the world.
Yes.
We're trying to do good, to promote peace, and to help humankind. But we are surrounded in a neighborhood. What good do they bring to the world?
Yes. But before we go or dig deeper on that, sir, we'll have a quick commercial break.
Sure.
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into pressing issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
And we're back with His Excellency Ambassador Ilan Plus of Israel. Before we proceed, we have talked about the OFWs and the volunteers and the the good that Israel is trying to foster among nations. It has been it seems been months and
3 months, 4.
no
7 months.
Oh,
7 months.
It's been
7 months already since October 7. Maybe we can ask the good ambassador. We can if you can provide us a general sense of where the campaign of Israel
Yeah.
is at present in Gaza, especially when it comes to Rafah.
So I would say, first of all, I came back from Israel 2 weeks ago after a visit. And it's a very weird kind of visit because from one side, Israel is fully functioning. Daily life in Israel is back to normal. Restaurants are open, cinemas, shops, businesses, everything is working.
seems like
And
nothing
seems
happened.
like nothing is happening. But then you cannot go too close to the border on the north and on the south. And you have still 132 hostages, which is connected to what the campaign I'll talk about in a minute. And you have all the families of those, and there is growing pressure to bring them back home. So that demonstrations now and then of their families and other supporters. And then there are also questions on what is the long-term solution. And we are addicted to news. So every 1 hour, everybody listens to the news. So there is a mindset which is very still under trauma in a way. But on the other hand, there is a real an effort that daily life should also continue. And you are in between those two extremes all the time. So it's really a strange reality today. But it's important to say that Filipinos can visit Israel. Airports, in the entire time, closed only once for 7 hours when the Iranian attack took place, because it was a big attack on the air. But immediately after, and before that, since October 7th, now it was always open except for those 7 hours. Seaports are open, buses, everything is functioning. So it's okay to visit Israel and you don't need a visa. right? Filipinos do not need a visa to visit Israel. But on the campaign now, about 10 days ago, the Hamas attacked Kerem Shalom. Kerem Shalom is one of the crossings where Israel is helping, assisting the entrance of the humanitarian assistance, medical supplies, food, energy, shelter, all the needs for the Palestinians who are suffering inside. I mean, you have still Palestinian civilians, which the Hamas doesn't care about them really. So there is an effort to bring in as much as possible humanitarian assistance. And then the Hamas from Rafah launched attacks against Kerem Shalom, against this crossing. And 4 Israelis were killed. And all the humanitarian assistance is there. And then Israel said, okay, we cannot continue waiting with the operation against Rafah. The day before, the Hamas gave a negative reply to the last proposal of exchange to bring home the hostages and we will release terrorists. Hamas said no to the latest proposal. And then a few hours later, they launched this attack. So then the IDF started the operation in Rafah. It's not the entire Rafah.
Yes.
It's very precise. It's very limited, with the goal, number one, to eliminate terrorists from attacking again. Number two, getting to the Rafah crossing, which is a crossing between Egypt and Gaza. And it is used, and there are many tunnels along the border between Gaza and Egypt, where the Hamas, as you know, we saw so many tunnels. And those tunnels were not there until now, so they were still operational. And we know that they're continuing to smuggle in weapons, rockets, and people are able to go in and out. So more terrorists, they can go out, can come back in, medical, whatever they need to do. So we said we need to stop, to put an end to it. So we captured part of Rafah. We announced before that we are going to enter, giving time for the civilians to move out of the area. We prepared places of shelter with tents, with field hospitals, with the services for those citizens to evacuate to, in order to make sure that they have a place to stay.
Yeah.
It's not a 5-star luxury hotel.
Mr. Ambassador, these would be the safe zones.
Yes.
For those, I understand there were, what is the figure, 500,000 people who were allowed to get out of Rafah before
Yes.
you operated with the idea?
It was gradually. It started with
Yeah.
100,000 and slowly, I think by now it's about 500,000.
Okay.
And we announced beforehand to an area where we're going to operate. You know, it doesn't make sense military-wise because you're giving a warning
Yeah.
to the terrorists that you're going to attack here soon, so they know. But on the other hand, as a responsible army, we need the civilians to evacuate from there.
Yes, and the thing is,
And we promise them a safe passage, and we give them where would be a humanitarian area where they would be protected. Now the Hamas is taking advantage
okay.
and is using those places to attack Israel.
Yeah, it's good that you explained the tactical importance of Rafah. That this is the spot where Hamas is, bringing in weapons, more
Correct.
people from other countries, I suppose.
Well, it's from Egypt, but
From Egypt.
it comes there in different ways, and then they smuggle it in. Now we have to remember, most of Gaza, IDF was already inside, but Rafah, which was actually the main place where a lot of the citizens of Gaza were concentrated at, because until now IDF did not enter into Rafah. So it also became a safe haven, not only for the civilians, but also for the Hamas activists and the terrorists and the leaders of Hamas. So it became their center of operations and where they did all the attacks from. And we just had, after these attacks, we had no choice but to start to come in, although there was a lot of international pressure on Israel not to go in. One of the things I always claim is it's easy for the international community to put pressure on Israel, which is a democratic country, liberal country. Why don't they put the same pressure
Yes.
on Hamas,
Because
on Iran?
because that would
Why,
not
it's a
have any
cynical
effect,
world.
Mr. Ambassador.
Yeah.
Because precisely,
It's not.
You
No,
cannot
it's
talk
not.
sense
It's
to-
not sexy.
Yeah.
Let's put pressure on Israel. Why on the Hamas? We love the Hamas.
Yes, of course. I mean, you are the sane, sensible, and
Exactly, exactly. And
you do not talk to rogue states.
yeah, but maybe it's about time the international community would wake up
Yes.
and
Well,
be
it's a wake-up call.
realistic
Yes.
and make a decision of standing with the good and not standing with the evil,
Yeah,
with the bad.
it's always a question of whether you would straddle the fence or you would, fight for good, or whether you would join the dark forces.
Exactly.
I mean, it has always been black and white,
Correct.
of course. And the thing is, I think last Tuesday, President Joe Biden pledged 1 billion in new
Yes.
support for Israel. So,
Correct.
what is the signal that you're getting from Washington insofar as this new aid package you are getting from?
So the relations with the U.S. are I would say maybe complicated in a way. From one side, the U.S. is our strategic ally, supporting Israel from the beginning, understanding that this war is a war against a terror organization, fully supporting Israel. Then, before we entered into Rafah, President Biden said that he's stopping a supply of specific weapons, smart weapons, that he wants to make sure that they are not used by IDF when they attack Rafah. But at the same time, also continuing to say that the U.S. will stand and support Israel defending itself against terror organization. And I think for me, this is the most important thing. I mean, maybe there's one specific shipment which is maybe controversial, but generally speaking, the statement of the U.S. leadership, and also we see this across political parties in support of Israel, the Americans understand. Of course, they have the domestic politics.
Yes.
It's also an election year. And you see in the U.S. something which is, for me, I want to touch upon it. You see what's happening in the campuses, in the universities. You see these demonstrations. You mentioned before, supported probably by an organization from outside. We know. But you see who is demonstrating in support of Hamas and, from the river to the sea, meaning normal state of Israel. It's very extreme right organizations with extreme left organizations. From one side, the human rights activists, LGBT community, together with Islamic organizations. Now, that's, for me, interesting. An Islamic organization, if it is Gaza, let's say Hamas, if there is a gay or lesbian or one of the community in Gaza, give him 24 hours to live, maybe less. He will be executed because it's against the Islamic law.
Yes.
Let it be in Tel Aviv, liberal city, which is considered one of the good places for the LGBTQ community. But still they are supporting Hamas. They want to commit suicide? I don't understand. Do they see the same, they share the same value? Or they share one thing, hatred to Israel and hatred to the Jews. This is what is standing behind it. And this is why we have to stand up united against these voices. And this is what we saw finally happening also in the United States, finally.
Yeah, Mr. Ambassador, so going back to your point a while back, so you are not getting any mixed signals from the U.S. insofar as your analysis is concerned.
So there is some mixed signals because you see the demonstrations and you see some members.
But that is not the U.S. government.
It's not the government.
Of course.
So it's not the government.
I'm asking about the U.S. government.
No. So from the government, there is a little bit of, because of this one shipment, which is halted. But on the other hand, I think when we look at it on a more strategic level, there is very strong support.
One thing
Mr.
is for sure
Ambassador,
is that the U.S. government is fully supporting
Yes.
Israel.
Yes.
Mr. Ambassador, they are being very creative in going against Israel. I remember my daughter asking me whether it's true that people are boycotting McDonald's because supposedly
don't want
McDonald's
the
is
fries anymore.
supporting Israel. So there's a campaign not to go to McDonald's. And these are, I mean, in this day and age of disinformation and misinformation, you really are fighting a multifaceted war.
Correct. That's
So,
correct.
I mean,
We see,
even
but
the burgers are getting into the
you know, if you want to boycott Israeli products, stop using iPhones and stop using any smartphone because so many components were developed in Israel,
patented.
but not only patented and then sold to the companies,
Okay.
but developed by Israeli innovators and technologists, because so many innovations are coming out of Israel.
Yes.
If you use a smartphone, you're using Israeli technology. You don't want to use Israeli technology, you're going to have so many problems in medical devices, in your iPhone, satellite TV, whatever it is.
There's this Israeli.
Mr. Ambassador, that is the very same argument against those who are opposed to mining. That if you are really against mining, you should stop using your gadgets. Because everything that you're using is almost always has to do with extraction of minerals.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's this is the first time I heard somebody say that about the technology.
Of course. And,
I mean, if you are going to...
but I have to say, this international campaign, we also see the multinational companies, like the big high-tech companies, who came out with very strong statements of support of Israel and telling the employees, thousands of employees, don't bring politics into the company. And secondly, we are supportive of Israel and the values of Israel.
All right. So we don't have enough time, Mr. Ambassador.
Any
But,
last train of thoughts?
yes,
By the
and
way,
we are
I have to make a
giving-
disclaimer because my lineage says Irish Jew. So
Okay. And we are giving you the floor
yeah,
to
yeah.
at least invite our maybe our pilgrims or
our so many more
tourists to come to Israel and
so
or
that-
volunteers.
Yes, so that we would know how to plant those
Yes,
those,
those cherry tomatoes.
cherry tomatoes and gigantic lemons.
Lemons.
Okay, you have the
Yeah, thank you very much. So, let me, say to the viewers, Israel is open for tourists, and we look forward to have you in Israel. No paperwork, no visa. Secondly, daily life in Israel is as usual. Hotels are open, airlines are flying there, and you're more than welcome to visit Israel. Today, I say, you go to Israel for a visit of pilgrimage plus. Pilgrimage together with the Israel today. And Filipinos like good foods and like good wine. Israel has very good wine which is locally produced, including boutique wineries. And I said the other plus because there's also a lot of recreation in Israel. The beaches, the nature, the hiking. And one third plus is the volunteering. Come, you can volunteer or join organizations, and we'll find the opportunities for you to be able to connect to not only to the land and to the state of Israel, but to Israelis. And you'll feel and see and you realize why this special bond between Israelis and Filipinos, because we get along so well together.
Yes.
And it's a magical touch. And when you'll be there, you'll feel it.
all right. Very good words from our special guest.
And let me end
Yes, sir.
with also, a personal, not only personal, but really, a personal hope and prayer that the world will come back to its senses, and we will see peace and prosperity back, of course, in the Philippines, but in this context around the world. I mean, you have the Russian-Ukraine war, of course, and then of course, the war in Gaza. And hopefully we'll be able to see soon that people and countries and these terrible terror organizations realize that this is not the way to live, and we should live together peacefully.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador,
Very well said.
the only thing we can say with regards to that is Amen.
Yes.
It is also our prayer that some sense into these, into our, all of us, collective sense, that we should stop this, conflict
Yes,
and
absolutely.
live peacefully with each other
Yes,
among
sir.
nations. And so we would like to thank you,
Thank you very much, Your
His
Excellency.
Excellency Ambassador Elon Plus of Israel for gracing our show, Usapang OFW.
Yes, and we will be having a quick break for this.
All right.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, Hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, Hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Tune in.
And then we're back dito pa rin sa Usapang OFW at yun, marami pong salamat kay Ambassador Elon Flus ng Israel for gracing the...
And also, we have to thank our next guest for patiently
Patiently
waiting. Sir,
waiting.
marami pong salamat. Introduce mo nga ang ating guest.
Yes, our next guest is the director or the general manager of Manila International Airport Authority, General Manager Eric Ines. Magandang hapon po sa inyo. Welcome po sa Usapang OFW.
Alright. Okay. Okay.
Hello, sir. Medyo naka-mute po yata kayo, sir.
Okay, ito na.
Ayan.
Okay na ba?
Okay na po.
Yes, sir. Thank you po, sir.
Salamat po sa paghihintay, sir.
Sa Usapang OFW po, sir. Una-una, nasa balita po talaga ang MIAA at napakaganda ng good news, ika nga, no? Yung nangyari dyan sa Terminal 3 whereby isang pasahero ang nailigtas. Because of the quick response of
Quick
your...
response ng mga tauhan ng MIAA.
Apa. Sir, ano po ba ang mga natin ngayon sa MIAA? Ano po ba ang mga pinagkakaabalahan natin? Ano yung mga innovations and reforms that you are undertaking as the new MIAA General Manager? Sir Ines.
Maraming naman po. Salamat po unang-una. Kung hindi niyo ako nanig po kanina bumabati po ako ng isang magandang hapon.
Okay.
At maraming salamat sa pagkakataon na binibigay po niyo sa amin para may balita naman natin kung ano po yung mga kasalukuyan na ginagawa po namin dito sa Manila International Airport.
Yes, sir.
Salamat naman po at nabanggit po nyo yung ginawa ng isang medical team namin na naka-duty. Yung isang team namin doon, may tinulungan po isa tayong pasahero na nanggaling yata sa Cebu o papuntang Cebu medyo nagkaroon ko ng issue at immediately natulungan po ng ating medical response at siya po ay nadala ng ospital. Pagkasabi pa nga parang na-revive naman po. At tama-tama naman po ito naman po ay naagapan nila. Kaya kami nagpapasalamat sa team natin na sila ay preparado. Ngayon po, yung tanong po ninyo, marami po tayong ginagawa ngayon na parang ito po ay repair na lang po ang ginagawa namin sapagkat marami po tayong mga pasilidad dito sa mga terminals na kailangan pong ayusin. Unang-una po dyan ay yung mga ibang mga escalator po natin na matagal na po ang hindi umaandar sapagkat wala pong mga partes na dumadating po na matagal na po in-order daw, eh hindi naman po dumarating pa.
Mhm.
So, ginawa na lang po namin ay itong mga equipment po na ito, ay dito na kami naghanap ng kung pwede namin spare parts kahit na inaantay pa lang na, para umandar lang po
Opo.
yung mga equipment na ito. Meron pa tayong mga problema po sa mga ibang escalator, elevator sa ibang terminal na itong ina-address na po namin.
Opo. Sir, yung mga
Ah.
ganyang development, sir, hindi naman po yan makakaapekto sa mga pasahero natin.
Hindi naman po, kaya nga lang medyo malaking perwisyo po. For example, yung kung kayo ay galing sa ibang bansa, gaya sa Terminal 3 po, no? International Terminal po yun, at pag-arrive niyo ay instead na mag-escalator kayo papunta sa yung tinatawag nating baggage carousel para kunin yung
Opo.
bagahe ninyo. Hindi po
Lakad.
maandar yun. Kaya hagdanan po. Kaya kawawa naman
Eh,
po
okay
yan
lang yung
na-
exercise naman yun, sir.
Pero okay lang po sa mga malalakas ng katawan.
Ayun
Pero
lang.
siyempre, meron pa tayo mga kababayan na medyo elderly na kailangan ng tulong. Mas conveniente.
Opo.
Ganon din po sa meron din kaming arrival na mas maiksi nga lang sa escalator sa Terminal 2, yung domestic natin. Ganon din po ang sitwasyon. So ito po ay pinangako ko nung isang araw na sinabi ko po sa ating mga senador na ito po ay ina-address na po namin sapagkat hindi na po kami makakaantay kung tayin pa namin yung partes na yan.
Yes, sir.
Kaya yan po, yung ginagawa namin iba. Marami pa po kaming pinaproject kayo na inaayos po sa kasalukuyan.
Yes, sir. Sir, with the modernization in the pipeline nga na po, bali, kailan po kaya mararamdaman ng mga pasahero yung yung pag-uumpisa ng modernization with the help of the private sector, sir?
Hindi po ako makakapagbigay sa inyo ng yung talaga eksaktong timeline.
Yes.
Pero ang masasabi ko lang po ay ngayon po ay yung official na turnover po namin dun sa tinatawag nating private consortium na
Yes.
ang pangalan ngayon ay New NAIA Infra Corporation or NNIC. Yun ang bagong pangalan po ng SMC at saka ang Incheon na nagsama, no?
Yes, sir.
Ay nag-uumpisa sa September pa po dapat yun. Ngunit ngayon pa lang po ay nag-uusap na ang NIA at saka ang NNIC sa mga tinatawag nating early works. Ang uunahin po ito po maganda, ang isang uunahin po ay isang OFW lounge na malaki-laki sa Terminal 3.
Okay.
Yun po isang inuuna nila at tinitignan na po namin kung ano pa po yung mga gagawin doon sapagkat balak na po nilang umpisahan immediately. Ito po ay itong malaking OFW lounge doon sa departure area ng Terminal 3.
Ayun. GM
Opo.
Ines, di ba meron po tayong OFW lounge na nag-ooperate na po? Yan
Meron po sa Terminal 1 po yun.
Terminal 1.
Pero nakita rin po ng ating private consortium na makakapartner dito ay mas naliliitan po sila. Ang balak nila ay maghanap sila ng mas malaki para sa Terminal 1. Yun po ang plano nila.
Terminal 3.
Sapagkat iba po yung Terminal 3 po. Yung gagawin na yung Terminal 3.
Gagawin pa lang.
Gagawin pala.
Opo. Yung Terminal 1, existing na po yun.
Okay.
Meron na po. Nakatatlong buwan na po yata yung mahigit. Gamit na gamit po yan ng ating mga
Ilan nga,
kasamang
sir, ang
OFW.
capacity nun?
Siguro, estimate ko lang po kung talagang seating capacity, baka bigyan 70 siguro. No?
Masarap
Mayroon
yata
pa
magkape
ako.
doon sa OFW lounge, GM Ines. Kasi
Ano po?
masarap magkape diyan sa
Meron po, libre po yun na may
Libre.
pagkain po doon. Pero hindi naman po yung masyadong yung katamtaman lang po na snacks.
Merienda lang.
Pero may inom. Opo. Meron naman po. Wala po bayad yun ng ating mga OFW.
Yes, sir.
swerte talaga ng mga OFWs, ano?
Sir, in
And,
terms of
Opo.
ano naman, sir, arrivals.
Arrival po. Sige po, go ahead.
Yun, malakas pa rin po ba, mataas pa rin po ba ang bilang ng arrivals natin?
Oh yes po. Totally po sa isang araw, nag-average po ang mga lumilipad, both arrival and
And
departure.
departure, yes.
Total na po ito per day. Ang average tayo ng 130,000 passengers. No? Out of that, sa mga departure po ng international, ang Singapore arrival, ang international, hindi naman mo nagkakalayo yan eh. Umabot po tayo ng mga 30,000 mahigit. Ang departure, papuntang abroad po yon. At yung arrival naman po na ay umaabot ng house, ganoon din po pantay. Ngayon, yan po international. Yung domestic po, medyo malaki-laki yung departure natin na pupunta sa probinsya. At paabot po minsan ng mga 35,000. Hindi naman kalayuan.
Apo.
Pero totally po, ang sa isang araw, buong lahat ng terminal natin, umaabot po ng mga 130 to almost 138, give and take. Ang 1,000 po ang nagbabiyahe.
Okay.
Tama, kasi reflective nung binalita ng Department of Tourism that for the first quarter of the year ay nasa 2 million ang arrivals natin.
International lang yun.
Tourism.
And with
Yes, sir.
OFWs kasama.
Kaya syempre ang majority ng mga arrivals na yan would be served by the terminals ng nahawak ni GMENS would be NAIA. Apo. So ano pa
Sir,
pa po ba ang
Yung mga existing problems na
sir,
nakikita.
matanong lang namin kasi hindi naman natin pwede iwan to na hindi natin na itatanong. Sir, kung yung issue po ni Ratatouille, okay na po ba yun?
Wala na po yun. Nagkaroon po tayo ng...
Bumalik na po ba sa
ganyan.
France?
Bumalik na po. Nagkaroon po tayo ng issue na ganyan, panandalian. No? Lalo na po yung when nakakita sila sa silya. 2 pasahero po ang nag-complain. Pero after that po, ang ginawa na lang namin ay siyempre pinadamihan po natin yung taong Kasi po yun, ang istorya po niyan, ay yung mga silya po niyan ay binababa po sa gabi. Pero hindi po nakakayanan yan. By batches po yan. Tapos pag nilinis, inaabot po ng mga 3 araw. Sa dami po niyan, 2,000 po yan na gang chairs na tiga-4 na silya. Sa Terminal 3 po yan, ha?
Opo.
So, ginagawa po yan, pero hindi naman nabiglaan na ibababa po. Mabigat po eh. Anyway, yung issue na yan nangyari. Tapos yung ibang mga rodents na nakita, totoo po yun. May mga, kasi sa dami po mga pagkain. na
Food
salad
kasi.
po.
Okay.
Opo, pagkat, medyo luma na rin po yung gusali at meron maraming areas po dyan na hindi naman nagagamit. Pangalawa, marami po tayo mga restaurants na nandoon, Ratlo. Meron din po tayo mga kasamahan o kababayan na pag umaalis o may mga dalang pagkain, pag kumain po doon, ay hindi naman po na itatabi yung pinagkainan. So lahat po ito ay nag-a-attract po sa mga rodents natin. Opo, pati na rin po yung lahat po ng klase na. Kaya ginawa na lang po namin ay sinistiyak na lang po namin, dinagdagan po namin ng tao. Nagpadagdag po kami doon sa mga contracted na pest control at saka yung po mga cleaner services. Nakiusap kami kung pwede dagdagan po yung tao nila. Nagdagdag naman po.
Bagay, Raffy, hindi mo na itatanong. Si GM Ines talagang expert sa airport management yan. Talagang
Hindi naman po.
from the ranks yan. Talagang nababasa natin ang pangalan ni GM Ines pagdating sa airport. Operations, ano po sir? Tama po ba?
Opo, dahil mahigit 30 taon, mahigit more than 32 years po ako sa airline po.
Talaga seasoned na pala si sir.
Hindi naman, sir. Okay lang po yun.
Sir, ayaw ni sir.
Yes sir, just like Ambassador Ilan Plus, we would like to give you the opportunity to send your message to our people and
To our viewers po, to
Viewers
our
po.
katribu.
Well, una-una po, salamat naman po sa pagkakataon na ito. Una po ay alam ko na marami pa po kaming dapat gawin dito sa airport na dapat ayusin. Hindi lang po yan, mayroon kayo din natatanong yung problema po natin sa air conditioning, sa power, nagpo-fluctuate to kung minsan sapagkat matagal na pong problema yan. We really have to have really a power station po dito na sarili.
Oh.
No? That's one, importante po yan. In fact, I hope that the new consortium has already plans to do something about it kasi hindi po kakayanin natin yan at mabigat po, maliban sa mahal, napakalaking proyekto po
Sir,
niyan. That's one, no?
wala po ba sa plano ng consortium niyan?
Meron po, binanggit na po nung
At
ating
least.
chairman, yung chairman po ng consortium, nung nagpa-interview siya, nung nagpirmahan po kami, he will look into it.
Okay.
Well, of course, there's no timeline, pero ito po isa sa akin, sa pananaw namin, importante po yung power na constant, yung stable power supply.
Okay.
So, yan po. So,
Okay.
without that, mapapaandar po natin ng tama yung ating mga system sa airport, gaya ng check-in, yung system ng immigration, yung security, final security, yung pag-board ng aeroplano, at saka ibang mga kailangan po sa terminal. So, that is the key. Ngayon po, to sa aircon, may problema din po kami sapagkat yun pong tinatawag nating mga cooling towers ay nung pang 2002 pa ho yata nabili yun. Dapat po palitan na po yun. 6 po yun. Para bakit importante yun? Sapagkat yung 6 na cooling towers na yan, yun po nagpapaandar ng tinatawag nating chiller. Yung chiller po yan, yun po nagbibigay po ng air conditioning ng buong terminal. Ay pareho dapat po ayusin na po yun.
Okay.
Sapagkat napakamahal po at pangalawa, it will take time. Kaya unti-unti po namin ngayon nire-repair muna. Until such time, napapalitan na po yan ng bago.
Palitan na po natin
So,
yan na GM Ines kasi mukhang
Lalo na
talagang
ngayon.
end of life na yung mga cooling towers na yan.
End
At
of life.
hindi na kaya ng remedyo. Ano po? So,
Tama po kayo.
yes sir. Opo, tama po kayo na sinasabi nyo na in the interim habang hindi pa nagkikick in yung isang airport natin, talagang kailangan na masolusyonan yung twin
Yes,
problem
sir.
of cooling and power. Kasi
Correct po.
remember, yung January 1, hindi na dapat maulit yun. Yung kung
Yes.
saan ay
Oo.
naging no-fly zone ng Pilipinas. Di
Yes,
ba ba?
ibang issue naman po yun.
Oo,
Yata,
iba naman yun.
naalala ko. Navigation po yun.
Navigation
Yung
naman.
nangyari po yata, yes, I think
yes.
the other incident happened mid-year yata po, the other year, last year.
Yes.
No? But that was already, nagbigay po ng solusyon. Although yung solusyon po yan, nakukulangan pa rin po tayo sapagkat nakakaramdam pa rin tayo ng fluctuations ng power and doon kami kinakabahan. Kaya ang ginawa na lang po natin, although meron naman po naka-standby na generators, no, importante pa rin po na sana magkaroon tayo ng mas stable pa po na power supply. Ayun po ang ating pangarap na mangyari. Pangalawa po, although meron naman po, naka-standby palagi ang Meralco at saka yung mga MIA at saka MIA maintenance. Pero ano ho yun maintenance, engineering po. Importante yung source of power.
Yes.
Yun ang
Stable
importante po.
source.
Yes, sir. Yun po ang dapat tugunan ng tama. At alam na po ng mga papasok na consortium, aware po sila dyan, aware din po sila sa end of life ng mga equipment. Kaya ito po, nagtutulungan na may tinatawag kaming early works na pinag-uusapan na hanggat hindi na kami nag-aantay, hindi na sila nag-aantay ng September, nag-uumpisa na po sila ngayon at kusa naman po kami tumutulong para tulungan tayo. Ito po yung kailangan ng ating mga mamanakay. Yung importante yung serbisyo sa kanila na tama, maayos, secure, safe sila at maganda ang kanilang biyahe.
Safety and comfort naman po talaga ang hinahanap.
Yes, sir. Kaya yun po aming ginagawa. Tinitignan pa ho namin yung iba. Kaya po niyan, tag-ulan, tinitignan na ho namin yung mga nagli-leak po na mga sa roofing ng mga terminal natin. Sapagkat nung minsan, umulan dito, may mga tumulo na po. Kaya
Natanggal yung
ginawa
kisame.
namin-
Di ho ba, GM Ines, may natanggal na kisame nung...
Well, before pa po, pero itong lately, nung umulan nung isang araw, may mga tumulo na po sa isang terminal. At ngayon po, in-address na po namin. Pero ginawa ho namin dahil complete roofing kailangan, medyo matatagalan. Kaya gumawa na kami ng paraan habang aayusin yung mas matagal na, mas permanente nagpa-ready na po kami ng mga sealant, yung mga ganun. Hanggang titignan na po nila habang walang ulan. Inaayos na po nila. Inuunahan na po namin kasi pamaya makaramdam tayo ng malakas na pag-ulan. Importante, huwag naman sana mag-leak ng todo itong mga terminal natin. Yun po, sir.
Yes, GM Ines, maraming pong salamat sa mga no holds barred na pati shopping list ng MIA ay nandiyan na, no?
Very honest.
Well,
Very honest
yeah,
yung ano.
You know, after El Nino, kung saan ay cooling tower ang problema natin, ay eto naman ng La Nina. Kaya mula sa init ay tulo naman.
Yun naman ang...
It would be, yes, GM Ines, it would be very difficult to be in your shoes right now. Sa totoo lang po. So we can only wish you good luck in all of your activities, undertakings po. Maraming pong salamat,
Thank you
sir.
po very much.
Sana po magkaroon pa tayo ng second round of discussion dito sa Usapang OFW.
Yes, sir. Anytime po. Tawagan lang niyo po kami. Anytime nandito po kami. Maraming salamat po sa pagkakataon.
Okay, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
That's
Thank you po.
Manila International Airport Authority General Manager Eric Ines.
Oo nga. Talagang veterano sa airport si GM Ines dahil talagang sabi niya ay 30 years of, you know. Actually, nung bagong reporter ako, nababasa ko na yan si GM Ines dyan sa airport. So, I mean, sometimes talagang you really have to appoint the right people and people who know what they're doing.
Alam ko nga sasabihin niya kanina yung usapin ng daga. Dahil nga sa may pagkain, talagang may mga rodents. Kaya ang
Huwag na tayo
solusyon
kumain.
ay kung hindi huwag kumain, mag-alaga ng pusa.
Okay. On that note, Raffy, this is
Wala na po, kalbo lang po.
rather an
nagpapatawa.
eventful day that we interviewed
Yes.
Israel's ambassador to the Philippines, Ilan Plus, and of course, we also would like to thank GM Eric Ines of MIA for gracing our show today. So, this is Usapang OFW. Again, I am John Dodson, and
Raffy Ayeng po.
for our co-host who is busy elsewhere, Miss Bettina Fernandez, sa susunod na Tuesday.
Yes. See you Tuesday.
Thank you.